I just got finished watching Kimmy's video she had uploaded about 3 days ago. And I think some of you know what I'm talking about Stephen Lett's recent video about babies. Especially where he came out and said, look at that little baby. He's such an angel. But then goes on to say how he was born an enemy of God. How many of you that saw the video expected him to say, he's such a little devil? I really thought he was going to say that. I'm sorry I don't have the clip, but it's several places on YouTube. I wish I did have it. Well, at first I found it funny, because at first all I could picture was about 100 babies hurling shitty diapers at the temple. But I started thinking about it, and exactly what Kim said that was so disturbing on so many levels. And it's kind of a subject I kind of want to touch on, so let's get to it. How you doing, guys? Hope everybody's doing good today. One thing that's easy to spot are control freaks, and I think we all know them. Now, I found this out about my Bible instructor almost immediately, that this guy was a major control freak. Now, part of the indoctrination were the subtle changes they tried to make, and this guy was so blatant about them, it wasn't funny. The first thing they'll generally go after is your physical appearance. They pretty much cut down on me right away on that. Basically because facial hair. I had much longer hair at the time, and this they hated with a passion. That's why I wear it now. After they figured they got a handle on that, they switched gears. Now, the changes I made were very, very subtle. I could easily jump back and forth to who they wanted me to be, to who I really was. I mean, I took this off for a while, although I did grow it back briefly while I was a JW. Now, once they stopped that, and they figured they changed your appearance, the next thing they go after is your self-esteem. They will do anything to get you to think lower about yourself. Reason being, have you ever watched a narcissist at work? And many of you have dealt with them. They will attack a person's self-esteem. Now, when you have low self-esteem, your decision-making is faltered. You don't figure you can survive without someone else. And this is what a narcissist wants. They want you totally under control. You can't make a move without their approval. You have to check with me before you do that. Without me, you are nothing. And this is exactly how Watchtower works. And the sorry thing is, when I started studying, I was seeing all this play out. This was another red flag I chose to ignore, and I'm sorry that I did. But they will try and chip away at it. Now, I grew up, when I was younger, I had no self-esteem, very low self-esteem, no self-confidence. And that came at a much later age. So now, when these buffoons started attacking it, I was more resentful. It had very limited effects. I already knew who I was. And at this stage of the game, they weren't going to go anywhere with it. But I played along with their game for a while. But the thing was, I could look around the hall and see how many people actually had very, very low self-esteem, if any at all. Many of them were under the impression, without the elders, without Watchtower, without the publications, they couldn't survive. And the thing was, they got so reliant on being told what to do that many of them couldn't. Those that left the organization were disfellowshipped or disassociated. Didn't matter. As soon as times got hard, what did they do? They ran right back. You were absolutely right. Then they would have them jump through hoops for the next 2 years before they reinstated them. That is bullshit, first of all. We all go through hard times. Sometimes you have to go through hard times to establish your own truth. But this is not the way Watchtower rolls. They want you to think that when you're going through hard times, it's because you left the organization. And when you have low self-esteem, you go running right back. The people I feel sorry for the most are the young ones, the kids. Because let's face it, Any one of us as adults could basically tell Watchtower or the elders and walk. And they have no power once you've gone. They really have no power at all. Who they have power over are obviously the kids. They're minors. They have no say. They have to be at the meeting even if they don't want to be there. So they grow up being totally twisted mentally. And many of them probably would love nothing better than not go out in service, not go to these god-awful meetings. But they have no say. They're kids. They answer to their parents. But the reason Stephen Let's Talk was so disturbing, what does that plant in somebody's head when they say a child is born an enemy of God? That plants some very negative things in somebody's head. Now, we all know the god-awful things that happen to the kids in this organization. And it's obvious Watchtower does nothing to change that. They're basically child sacrifices. They're treated like second-hand citizens. They're not important. With the so many thousands of child sex abuse cases in that organization, and they still choose to turn a blind eye and blame them, not only are they victims once by the perpetrators, but they're victims twice by the elders, which is bullshit. So who really are the enemies of God? That little baby or the elders or Watchtower themselves? See, people get this twisted. They hear what these buffoons have to say and they listen. They think everything they say is a golden nugget. Oh, it's a golden nugget that needs to get flushed. And that's all Watchtower is that nugget that refuses to get flushed. But I really feel sorry for the young ones in this organization, because how do their minds work when they grow up? Now, granted, many of them leave. The unfortunate thing is they have a very unrealistic view of the world on the outside. Yeah, it's true. There are some god-awful things that happen in the world on the outside. But there are some god-awful things that happen within Jehovah's organization as well. There are a lot of good things that happen on the outside that you will not hear about. I remember being asked questions I couldn't believe I was asked when I started studying. Now, they were under the impression that I was a hellraiser, I was on drugs. But the shock on their face when they found out that, no, drugs aren't my thing, I've never done them. I smoked a little ganja here and there, but that's about it. But when I told them I'd never been in jail, I had never even seen the inside of a jail cell. They were utterly shocked. They actually couldn't believe that. But if most of them ever saw my police record, it is so utterly boring, it's not funny. But this is the way they think. When you come in from the outside, you're obviously not a good person. You are an enemy of God. Well, in that case, you're always an enemy of God. But this is also a little tactic of getting you to go out in service, if that's what they can call it, and sit in front of their little cots. They work on guilt as well, which is bullshit. When you see people standing by cots, how is that preaching? It is not. They simply have them there because they're afraid to send them door to door anymore because, let's face it, most people know what's going on these days. That was just something I wanted to get out there. This was a topic I kind of wanted to touch on about attacking your self-esteem. And when I saw Kimmy's video, it kind of tied in. I recommend you watch it. I'm going to watch it again because there were other things that she brought up that I didn't. Anyways, guys, I'm heading off to the hospital today. I got a little health issue I've got to take care of. Hopefully it won't be too serious, but I'll be talking to you soon. I'd love to hear your thoughts, guys. You all have a good day.